Oh, hey, Damascus. Actually, yeah, this is not from Damascus. This is a style of steel which includes basically folding. It's just a style that was probably invented 2,000 years ago in that area of the world. Damascus is actually folded from a couple of different steels. Yeah, I think I have a piece here. So if you look in the light, let's see, you'll see all these different, don't mind the rust here, this is superficial, but if you look at the colors and the swirls, those two types of steel, and that style is called Damascus. It's not from Damascus in particular, but just the style. And what's the worst you've cut yourself? I cut myself, not on a knife, but on this saw. This is a metal cutting bandsaw. And I was cutting, a piece of steel. And I had my thumbs here. And at the end, it went much quicker and went right into my thumbs and split them open. I didn't need stitches. I basically sutured them here at home, and they healed fine. That's why when I press into a saw, I use this. So that's the worst. Let's get back to sharpening this guy. So if you're interested in this thing, so I make knives at home. I've made a ton of different knives. And this is my latest design that I made for a customer. And I'll show it to you when I'm done. This is the final stage in knife making, is to put a super sharp, scary edge. And what I typically do is, and this is my forge here. This is my belt grinder. This is where I do most of my, knife sharpening. And I published a video a couple weeks ago where I showed everyone how I did it. But after you cut your knife with a saw, then you put your bevel on with this and turn it on. So right now I'm at the last stage of this knife, and I'll show you how I put an edge on, and we'll give it a little test. This is going to take a while. This might be boring, but I figured I was down here. I'll throw the camera on if anyone wants to see me finish a knife. And then I use, this is called a wicked edge. And I used to do all of my my edges on that belt grinder over there. But what I found is, as I've been making more knives, I've probably made about 50 knives so far for friends and family. It's really important for the customer to be able to sharpen it themselves. I make working knives. These are knives to be used, and they're not like display knives, but they're tough. They're meant to be used every day. And so I invested in a wicked edge here because you can set the angle and be very precise on the angle of your edge, so that anybody who buys one of my knives and wants to sharpen it themselves, I'll tell them the angle of 21 degrees, and they'll be able to sharpen it themselves. Or they can send it back to me, and I'll sharpen it for them for free. But I'm just going to continue. And these are sanding stones. Each side is a different grit. So I start with 100, which is the coarsest grit, and you flip them over and you get 200. And then here are all the other stones here. Then I work myself up to 400, 600, 800, 1,000, and then 1,200 and 1,600. And after that, I will use a leather strop. And this is the final, to try to get a very sharp edge. It's not quite grippy, so let's do some more. What's that? This is called a wicked edge. Wicked edge. Oh, that's getting better. So the question is, are the stones interchangeable? Absolutely. As I was saying maybe before you joined here, this is the first stage of stones, and they flip back and forth. So you have 100 grit on the reds, and you flip them over, you get 200 grit, and you just pop these off. And put these over here. And then I'm actually ready to go up a stone to 400. And then you just slide them here. One right there, and then one right there. And then I mounted it to a cutting board. So this is all screwed in because basically, when you apply your force back and forth, if it's not mounted, it's going to go this way and this way, and you're going to lose the pressure of the stone against the edge here. So I just mounted this. I didn't want to put holes in my workbench, so I just put it on this cutting board. So now I'm going to go up to 400 grit, and the edge here will get shinier and shinier. It's not quite sharp yet. It's getting there. It's a little grippy, which is good. That means it'll cut. When consumed, you have to replace the whole. Yeah, basically, you buy these. You can buy these individually. You can buy the whole kit. This has the cam lock, which is the upgraded version. It really holds any sort of thickness of your knife really, really well, as opposed to the other versions of the Wicked Edge. But yeah, these stones are consumable. These will last a long time. I've sharpened probably about a dozen so far, and they're still completely flat. You can condition these stones if you want to, but I tell you, they're expensive for sure, but the amount of time it saves and the precision that you get is really what I wanted. And the people that buy my knives, I will tell them the angle that I use so they can sharpen it themselves, and take care of it on their own, or they can send it back and I'll just put a new edge on for nothing. It takes, once the edge is established, it doesn't take long to keep it sharp. If there's one thing I wish the Reddit video was higher resolution, because then I can show you how it transforms from a dull edge to shiny and almost mirror. I don't have, I probably can't get a mirror shot in this because this is Damascus. I'll show you what I mean when I'm done. Because the folds of the metal that I used here, you can actually see on the edge if you look up close. It's actually it's a really nice effect. This is a great piece of steel. Powered setup for shaping. Right. No, I don't know what CBN means. I'm sorry. I typically do metal work. I have a 2x72 belt sander over there that I use to shape my metal, and all my handle material I use micarta. I don't really use wood anymore, because it just doesn't hold up for me in knife handles. So I've been using micarta for some time, and for this blade I used again, you can't probably see it. What if I go over here? Yeah, this is a red and black micarta. It came out really nice. It almost looks like leather. I have to put another coating on here to sand it down a little bit. But yeah, I don't really use wood anymore. So I don't know what CBN wheels are. Forge your own Damascus. Yeah, I do forge my own Damascus. Doesn't turn out good at all. So I'll forge my Damascus if I'm making a knife for like a friend, or myself. I use what's it called, crucible Damascus. So basically, I've all different types of metal in my pile, and then this is powdered steel. This is 1095 powdered metal. And it has some nickel in here, and that's what causes the shiny parts when you etch it in acid. And I also have what's called 15N20, which is down there in the corner there, and that I can take that and fold it on my anvil, which is right there. But when I do crucible, or woots, I guess they call it, I put all my metal pieces in there. This is a brand new one. I haven't used this one yet. My other one broke. I'll fill it up, and then I will put some powder in there. I'll fill it with glass, and I'll stick it in the forge. I don't have a kiln, so I just use my forge. And then when it's done, I pop it out, and then you have this little nugget of steel. Then I'll go work it into a billet on this guy, the Peter Wright anvil. When I make knives for, colleagues, or I want it to look nice, I'll buy it from a professional maker. So this is from Vegas Forge. I don't know if you can see that, but that's Boomerang Damascus, and Chad Nichols. Actually, no, this is Chad Nichols. And this piece here, this is actually longer. And this piece was probably $350, but it's exceptionally well made. It's beautiful pattern. It's precision ground. I have to do no bending at all, and it turns out beautiful. So I'll use Damascus for real projects. It has the tool, got a special name. Yeah, this is called the Wicked Edge. Yeah, that's what that's called. CBN Wheels has a new, okay, that's neat. I gotta check that out. Yeah, I use, these are my belts. This is my belt Christmas tree. And this is ceramic here. This is 36 grit. This is where I start when I first, after I cut the blade or cut the metal, I'll use this to shape. And I'll progressively go up in grit to, I think this is grit 80 and so forth, all the way down to, Trizac towards the end. And then my favorite is this is like Scotch Brite. This is what I use to put the final beautiful shine on the edge. I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done sharpening. And there's a couple of different grits. Well, I guess grits of the Scotch Brite, and it's outstanding. It puts a nice sheen on the blade. Where am I located? Yeah, I have to check out the CBN. That's interesting to me. I live in Connecticut. I'll check out Zim knives for sure when I'm done with my work. I have to get this knife out the door Monday. This is for a colleague, so I'm just going to sharpen here for a while. Stropping. Yeah, I do strop. Definitely. I have this suede side with green compound on it. I use this after I'm done. I go up to around, this is 1600 ceramic. So after I get it to this level, I'll definitely go to this side, and then here's the leather strop. It's pretty good for I'm not a pro like some of the guys that you see. I'm just trying to get better here. But I find that this puts just a very very what I'm trying to say. It's like just the finishing of the edge that you want on the blade, and it also pulls out any sort of microscopic metal that you may have, which could scratch your bevel. So I always definitely strop. I have one hanging on the my belt tree over there. So yeah, I strop. You want it to be just about grippy here. Yeah, it's getting better. So I'm going to go up a stone. I'll probably do another couple of passes with 400 here. This is the yellow side, and then I'll flip it over to 600, and I'll keep going. What sort of sharpening? Yeah, this is called a wicked edge. And paper wheels. No, I have not used paper wheels either. I mean, I have my my orbital grinder over there, which I use for buffing, which with the sisal wheels, but I haven't used paper wheels. These are things I should learn about. So I'm right-handed, and when I first started using this thing, my left hand was almost like it was smashed with hammers. Like I couldn't get it flowing right, but this is good for, coordination. Okay, so let's go to 600. I think this is looking pretty good. Getting grippy. So now we flip it over to 600. And I'm just going to start on one side here. I see, a lot of folks using this. I've seen a lot of people use the wicked edge and just zip through the stones, but I don't do this professionally. This is my hobby. I absolutely love working with metal, so I do this pretty slowly. I savor, sharpening metal. I think it's very relaxing. I like the sound. I like the motion. I like the effect. So, I apologize if this has taken so long, but I don't really rush. I was going to mention the thing I really like about the wicked edge here is that these stones are like handles. So if you notice, there's like this protective plastic barrier where you hold it. So I've probably sharpened a dozen or so since I got this. I've never once cut a finger, sliced anything, or really made any mistakes. Not that it can't happen, but yeah, this is probably one of the best investments aside from my belt grinder over there that I've made, and it makes it so very enjoyable. Cool. Yeah. Sharpening is like if you can do it by hand for sure. I actually started with sharpening stones. I liked it, but it was very messy. There's some guys on YouTube that do a really good job with the sharpening stones. Oh yeah, here they are. So here are my sharpening stones. And I haven't done it in a while. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun, but it's a big mess. And, I'm probably not as steady as I should be to use them. So that's why I use the wicked edge. I think that's good for, getting a perfect angle. And I think customers really like it. So these are my stones, water stones, wet stones. Paper wheels for bench grinders. Ooh, I see. Yeah, I'm going to check that out. Yeah, I just use sisal. So I mark it in black pen, green, and I think this is black. And these are the two rouge I use. I should get the pink too. I hear pink is really good for not putting scratches on it. So I'm probably going to get pink rouge, but I just really use, the green and the black, which is here somewhere. So I'll have to check out that. Cool. How am I holding your phone? No, it's a flexible metal loop that goes around your neck, and it's like a parrot. It's on my shoulder. So maybe I can show you. Yeah. So it's just this thing. Whoops. Yeah, there you go. And I just pop it on. And it doesn't get in the way. It just sits, on my shoulder a little bit, and then I can focus on what I'm doing. And you don't have to see my mug. Oops. Not done with 400. All right, yeah, we're ready to go up to 600, so I'll flip them around to green. And we'll give one side a nice grind. And then we'll do the other side. That might be enough. Let's see how we're doing here. Yeah, it's getting grippier and grippier. That's what we want to see. Yeah, let's move up. Let's move up to the next set of stones. So we're going from 400, 600, and we're going to go up to 800 and 1,000. So 800 and 800. What you going to do with that knife? Yeah, I make knives for friends and family, and sometimes people buy them. So this is a knife for a good friend of mine. He wanted a slicer for his bar, cutting lemons and whatnot. So this is going to be at a bar. I also made a leather sheath. I made this myself by following some grippy. Yes, exactly. So I wanted to pull my skin a little bit. A burr, yes, for sure. But the burrs with this system are basically taken off when you go back and forth. But what I really want is a grippy edge here, so that when it cuts into something, the microscopic scratches will grip into the material that it's cutting. So this is I made this the other day. I wet formed the sheath around it, and I sewed it myself. But I just followed some instructions on YouTube, and I think it came out all right. I curved it on the belt grinder. All right, so let's go up to 800. And let's get started. And you don't have to apply all that much pressure really at all. You really, unless you want to reprofile, like if you want to put a new angle on the edge, then you have to go down to the lower grit stones and apply some pressure. Otherwise, it'll take you forever. But you know, when you're just finishing up an edge like this, you just have to let the stone do the work and just basically glide it over and try to be consistent. And like, yeah, so when you do it on one side, that's what creates a little burr at the edge. And then when you use the other side, you know, it works itself off. Here's the hook of the burr, and then when knocked off and honed. Yes, I think that's right. I'm probably not, explaining or I'm wrong. But when basically, I'll just explain in my own language. When I test the edge of the knife, I want to make sure I'm not testing for a burr here. I can see it. I can see the little wire of burr sticking out off the top, like in the front here. You know, I can just take that off. I'm just want to make sure that the edge is grippy. Instead of, if I run my finger against it and it's not gripping my skin, then it's not sharp. That's really all I meant by it. And then, because I found in my own, when I do my paper test, it's got to be a little grippy to, catch the paper and cut it. I'm probably just using the different language. I'm probably not using the right language, to be honest. So always looking to be corrected or learn. All right, I'm going to finish the 800 and move along here. It's also like you hear it too. I'm sure you can't hear it on Reddit, but as you go up in stones, or at least when you start with a new stone, you can hear and even feel in the very subtle microscopic grit that collects, or that's a result of sharpening it. And then as you work the stone, it starts to get smoother and smoother and smoother, and that's at least how I know when it's probably ready to go up a grit. So I'm getting there with the 800. Yeah, that's awesome. That's getting scary sharp. Awesome. All right, I'm going to go up to 1,000. That's the darker blue. So here's 1,000 grit. Yeah, you can see the microscopic, well, not microscopic, I can see them, but the little wires sticking up are the burrs that occur on one side. And then I can just gently shave them off there, and then we can get this side going. Oops. And then we'll do the okay. Now we will go up to 1,200 and 1,600. So the material changes. They move from these sort of like synthetic stone material to ceramic. And these are much lighter too. So one side is, the gray side is 1,200 grit, and the white side is 1,600. And then we'll be done with the stones. And you can't see it because of this red resolution, but the edge is starting to get a mirror in parts where the nickel portion of the Damascus steel is getting shined. But sorry, maybe I'll do it on YouTube next time. So at this point, when you use the stone, it's really smooth as butter. It's just gliding right off that edge and putting a nice mirror on that edge. We'll do the same thing for this side. Again, 1200 grit. Let's get any burrs off of there so it doesn't scratch. And then here we go. All right, that's looking great. And then finally we'll go to the 1600, and that'll be it for the stone. So. All right, that's going to do it for the stones, I think. Let's see. Yeah, that's fine. It's going to be fine. All right, let's pop this guy out. Move this back. Let's get some green compound. That's scary sharp. That's Gary sharp. And I'm not going to use this leather here. I'm going to use the hanging strap. That's where all my belts are. You can see it before. Okay, let me show you the finished product here. Do you heat treat? No, I heat treat a long time ago. I heat treat after I get the basically the shape done. I'll show you an example. I'm starting another one here. This is just plain old 1095 steel. I can, basically I get the shape right on my belt grinder, and then I'll heat treat after this point. I'll put a basic bevel on there, right? But I won't put an edge. I'll just throw that in the furnace, or the forge rather, over here. And there's my quench tank, my anvil, and my forge. Wipe off my, I don't think it's my camera, but I'll do it anyway. Let's see. Maybe that's better. So I don't know if you can see this, but this is Damascus. It's called wavelength. There's, see those waves in there? That's from folding carbon steel and what's called 15N20. It's a nickel steel. And you get this absolutely fantastic wavy pattern in the steel after you etch it with acid. And I've done that several steps before. So this is basically, done. And I need to polish it. I can do that next. And then I wanted to show you this sheath. So this is only the second sheath I've ever made. Typically, leather sheath. I make Kydex sheaths normally. And Kydex is really durable. And then, I spent the first 50 minutes just taking you through my sharpening rig here. It's called the Wicked Edge. So I went through all the stones, and right now I'm at the end. But let me pop this. I'll just give you a quick tour of the final piece. this is the leather sheath. It started out as plain veg tanned leather, and then I soak it in water and I edge form it around the blade so it's custom fit, and then I pinch it around the blade so it has a place to lock in, and then it just fits like a glove. Perfect. And that's the finished piece. This is for my friend David, where this is going to be in his bar, so he can use it to cut whatever he wants. Fruit. Damascus is overrated. I personally like plain steel, so most of my knives are plain 1095 like this. But I will either make Damascus for friends, or I'll buy it if they, want to give me some money for the professional, professionally made Damascus. But I kind of agree. I like intricate handle material, and I like plain steel. 1095 steel. I can sharpen it all day long. It's easy to forge, easy to heat treat. And it's inexpensive. And if people want to buy a knife, I try to make them dirt cheap and give a custom experience. But that's my opinion. Work Sharp, the Work Sharp is pretty awesome too. So is the Edge Pro. I've used them all, but I actually landed on the Wicked Edge. I've already sharpened about 12 knives with this thing, and I love it. It's the one with the cam vise, so it really makes it really secure in here. And of course, you have the angle set here, so you can be precise. My pocket knife, S30V is really good. That's a workhorse steel. It's a favorite amongst professional makers. I am clearly not a professional. I just do it on the side for like a side gig. S30V is great, really, really good. I have many knives from my knife making colleagues that use S30V, and one day I'll do that too. I'll use it too. I just use plain old carbon steel. So I actually, I'll keep the camera on. I have one more step. It's probably going to be pretty boring, but it's the polish. So, if you want to stay around, that's cool. I'll just keep it on in case you're interested in the polish phase. And then what I use here is Renaissance. So I use this for everything, for the handle, for the blade. It smells really bad, but that means it's really good. I'm kidding. So let's get a clean rag. LMAX, that's a super steel. Well, I guess in my opinion, there's other super steels, but LMAX is tough to get sharp. On your own. But with something like this, with the bright stones, you can probably do a good job. That's why 1095 steel, you can get it sharp in like 2 minutes. Seriously. So that's what I use for my cheap knives that I make. Right. All right. I'm going to get to polishing. It looks pretty damn good. Yeah, you can't see it in this video, I know, but I can see it here. It's actually pretty cool. The very edge bevel here, you can make out the folds of the damascus in the edge itself. It's actually a pretty cool effect. Really neat. So I think the blade part is done. I'm just going to pop it in the sheath here. And I'm going to polish the handle. This is micarta. For just a little bit of this Renaissance powder or wax goes a long way. And then we will polish the handle here. And that wax will protect it and seal the material and protect it against weather, water, you name it. And as well, this will protect the steel. This is carbon steel, so you could get some oxidation. But you know, there's nothing truly stain-free. And that is going to do it for this knife. There's nothing else to do. This is complete. Thank you for watching. The next knife I'm going to make is going to be enormous. This is a small knife that people can bring into the city, you know, New York, that have really dumb knife laws. But this will go in your front pocket and not really show. And it's legal because it's under the maximum blade length. And yeah, the next knife is going to be a drop point hunter. This is for a friend of mine who was a Marine, retired, but this is going to be huge. It's going to be like this. Yeah, I cannot wait. I'm probably going to start that next weekend, but I can't wait to work on a big knife. I haven't made a big knife in a long time. So, hey, thanks so much for watching. Any questions, just hit me up on Reddit. Bye.